Today I've got 10 more Midjourney styles for you to try. All you need to do is add these to the end of your prompt and you can get some really cool results like the ones you see on the screen right here. Now the first style is Mech Core, and if you add a simple character to it, it tends to convert it into some kind of mech. This one of the woman's face looks pretty standard compared to other things we've done in the past, but move on to the Incredible Hulk and you get this really cool robotic Hulk. So it's kind of converted him and used like the Hulkbuster armor from Avengers, but like a colored green like the Hulk. Move on to Darth Maul, and they've really converted him into a robot, and the more you look, the more sort of mech info you see in him. You look at the ear and all the pipes and sort of bits of machinery coming out of his neck. You get a really cool result adding Mech Core to Darth Maul. Now I also added it to Samurai because I wanted to see a samurai in a bit of a mech style. This is more of a painting, but you can see how it's converted him into a mech style samurai. And the next one is Flowchart. So you add something like Flowchart to a prompt. So with the woman, it adds kind of like this flowchart effect pointing to different areas of the face. Darth Vader, it also adds his cool flowchart pointing to various parts of him, and can be a good idea for working on flowchart layouts. Same with the futuristic car, the way it's sort of done the car and pointed to various areas of the car with smaller images exploded around it is really cool. And Samurai standing in front of Mount Fuji, I thought this was interesting as the flowchart was actually, they've kind of tried to use a kanji type lettering as opposed to English, and that illustration style is a bit different than usual. And the Terminator, the way it's pointing to various bits of his jacket, I don't know what it's describing there, there's not a lot there to sort of look at, but it's a very cool effect overall and something that could be worth having a play with. The next one is Unsplash. Now Unsplash is a website where you download free images, and they're all high quality, but they tend to quite often have this style to them, this kind of like duller, darker sort of lighting style. So if I go to a woman's face, you can see her face is lit from a certain direction and looks very photographic, like a really high quality photo. The Terminator, it's added a few bits and pieces to his face, but overall looks pretty good, I think, and is just another way that it's sort of like lit it and given it that sort of bokeh effect. This is a great way to get a very particular look to some photos you're trying to generate in Midjourney. SpongeBob, again, it's got that dull look, but because he's got such a bright looking personality, it really stands out well in this particular image. Beautiful waterfall in nature. It just looks like a really nice photo of a waterfall, very high quality. It's gonna be great for generating photos. And a futuristic car, just looks like street photography with a really expensive looking car, and I love the way it's incorporated the orange with the sort of the bluer, more neutral tones. And Mezzotint Risograph, I hope I'm saying that right, stippled effect. Now I tried to create an effect, I didn't quite get there, but I got something else. Every now and then we do get the stippled effect, you can see the dots in this particular image, but quite often what we get instead is just like a really muted, high contrast art style. With Bruce Lee, you can really see the difference. He's looking like just that art style really hits well, although for some reason he is shirtless but has a sleeve on his right arm, which I thought was pretty funny. And the futuristic car, the look of that is actually really cool. It looks like a really very unique style of old-fashioned artwork, but very clean, but it does actually tend to have that stippled effect to it. Modern family home, again, it's turned it into that really sort of like high contrast style image with the dark house, the lit up windows, and overall a really cool look. The sky does have a little bit of a stippled effect to it. Darth Maul, it's brought out a little bit of the red but kept it at that really neutral sort of grayscale, slightly sepia tone. I really like the way it's handled him there, and just the overall look of the image. Now Mickey Mouse looks a little bit dark and creepy, but also has that weird astral sort of effect to it, but more so, again, that tone, it really is a cool effect if you like that darker, sort of like high lit, high contrast effect with the muted colors. Moving on to Hans Belmer style, once again, hope I'm not butchering that name. Now, this artwork style by this artist is really cool, and I'll just have a look, I'll show you what I mean. You can see here the intricacies of the artwork. If we go to the woman's face, you can see like the little bits of machinery and almost like the web of cables coming off the back of her head. Same with Darth Maul. It's converted Darth Maul into like a robot, but just added that same kind of like sort of feel to it with the webs and bits and pieces. This one I thought was interesting because it turned out like a photo. Most of them didn't, but it was just an interesting effect with this particular prompt. SpongeBob. It looks like something from a horror movie. adding in those, just to get web and sort of wires, and it just has a really messy, disgusting kind of look to it, but still a cool effect overall. And the modern family home, it's added that big creepy face. I would love to have that face in my home so I can invite people in and just see how creeped out they get. But overall, it's just a really different take on the modern family home from the inside with the big creepy face. And Barbie, it's added that same kind of yucky, insecty, webby kind of like cable look to it, and really just makes it just a bit creepy and a little bit of a horror theme, if you ask me. Moving on to Rainbow Spectrum. Now this just adds Rainbow Spectrum to the images, but has some really cool results. And you go to the woman's face and you get what you expect. A woman's face, a rainbow spectrum of colors in the image. Darth Maul, it's changed the paint on his face from the black and the red to multicolored and rainbowed it up, and I thought that was a really, really interesting take. And the futuristic car, it's a rainbow car, and if you look around, there's different colors in the mountains and on the road, and the reflection on the road of the car also helps kind of really brighten the colors on it. And Samurai standing in front of Mount Fuji, and you can see the rainbow spectrum above the mountain. Really, really cool effect and a really interesting image. And the fact that he looks kind of neutral, but there's bits of color added around the clothing, I think is an interesting effect also. The modern family home just added those rainbow spectrum colors to the design of the home itself, which looks really sort of grabbing. If you saw that home from the road, you'd have to sort of double take to have a good look at it. Now, Gadget Punk. This might have a similar effect to a lot of the other stuff we've done in the past, but a little bit drier, a little bit more dystopian. Once again, the woman's face. A lot of the time, woman's face, we get a very similar effect, but just the use of gadgets covered all over her face, I think, is really cool. SpongeBob, a very different effect with the kind of like machinery around his arms and waist, and a very, once again, a creepy look on that image. Anything with SpongeBob tends to look pretty creepy, so I think that's pretty cool. And Taylor Swift. Now, you can't really tell it's gadgetry, but like it does have a gadgetry look to it. It could be tattoos or wires or bits and pieces in her hair, but overall, I love the effect, and even the background with the pink kind of abstract gadgety looking elements that really bring it to life. And Mickey Mouse looks like he's built, he's part robot, part machine. To be honest, he looks kind of soulless, and I love that kind of creepy look. There's a lot of creepy stuff in today's video, and I like that look, to be honest, but a lot of people might not. Now, Funko Pop is another really cool style, basically just trying to convert objects or people into Funko Pops, like the toy Funko Pop. The woman's face, it's done a good job of giving a woman's face to a Funko Pop, so a really generic Funko Pop of a woman. But you move on to the futuristic car, and it adds that same strange face to the car, which I thought was an interesting take on a car, and just the real simple nature and style of the car overall. And the Samurai in front of Mount Fuji, we get our Samurai as a Funko Pop, but the background looks really cool. Really simple looking image overall, but a great sort of take on a Samurai. Bruce Lee, I think, has nailed the hair, the Funko Pop face, and overall is just a really, really cool effect. Now, playing card, this one turns out really well. Very easy to get the results you're after in this one. So the woman's face, it's added the woman's face to a playing card, but added a little bit of an artistic, bit of creativity. Darth Maul, we have an ace card with Darth Maul's face on it. Nice artistic sort of drawn look, which I think worked out really well. The Terminator, this looks like an awesome trading card, like he's busting out of the card, out to kill Sarah Connor. Something that I think is really, really unique, and I really like what I got out of this particular prompt. The Modern Family Home has added elements of the cards to the house, so you can see the symbols inside and just the different shape of the house. I think is just a very interesting take overall. The Incredible Hulk, another cool here is the King card, just the outline, the framing. Love what it's done with this particular prompt. By keeping the card green as well, I think has added something a little bit to the overall look with a little bit of red in the eyes. Our last style is fruit sculpture. So making things out of fruit, I thought this was an interesting idea, so I played around with it. And we've got the woman's face. It's actually made the woman's head out of fruit. And I think this is really interesting. Actual pieces of fruit, you can see how it's done, sort of creatively combine that with elements, including the hair, the neck. And if you move to Mickey Mouse, it's like it's cut out slices of apple for the face, and you can see the strawberries, the bits and pieces, the pineapple at the bottom, the grapes. They've really done a great job of creating something which looks like it's been actually made with fruit. My favorite is the Incredible Hulk. He looks like he's sort of a mutant vegetable piece of broccoli. If you look at the hair, it's like the sprouts of the broccoli at the top. Got apples and tomatoes around him and lots of bits and pieces of broccoli, and I just love the overall effect this image has. Beautiful waterfall in nature. It's kind of like a combination of a little waterfall feature with fruit on it, and I just thought it was cool to see how it interpreted that, as it's not really something that would easily be made into a fruit sculpture, but turned out pretty well. SpongeBob. He's converted him into a pineapple and added a few other weird faces around him. So I really think this is a fun one to see what Midjourney comes up with. It's actually a little creepy how good it actually manages to make the images when using fruit sculpture. And that's the video for today, guys. More styles. I hope you enjoyed that. And if you liked the video, please give it a like. Otherwise, hope to see you again soon. Don't forget to check out, I've got a bunch of other style videos on the channel. There's a playlist linked to in the description. Otherwise, have a great day. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.